See,
Hey
that's
everybody.
PD.
All right. Welcome to the TD Report. I'm your host, David Cohn. Cody is on here running the show for us. Thanks, Cody. Got some intro music. Hey man, we want to send out a special shout out. This is a surprise. Happy birthday to our founder, the founder of the TD Report, Tony Kennedy. TK, man. Happy birthday, brother.
What's up, baby? Thank you, baby. I'm 54 years old now. Thank you for
How
them
old are
birthday
you?
shout out. I'm 54, baby.
You're
You said
54.
74?
54, Randy White, baby. Randy White.
Randy White.
54.
All right. Hey,
54.
listen, for all you guys that have supported us the last 3 years that are doing the show is Tony's idea. It's his brainchild. And he brought me along to just kind of introduce the show for him. And I've stuck around for 3 years. Tony's a good friend of mine, Virginia Tech guy, Bladensburg guy, but nobody better in the business to do this. And we want to thank Tony for bringing this format out to podcasting. Looking for bigger and better things. Thanks, Tony. You deserve
All
it.
right, baby. Thank you, brother. Thank you, fellas.
Hey man, we got to talk about thanks. Yeah, thanks. Who is that? Is that Shane Hilliard? Yeah, thanks, Shane.
Oh,
Hey,
Shane, you worry about your Redskins.
Shane. Look, man. Why? Hey, Shane is probably our best. He's probably our best listener. He like listens to every show, so we can't insult Shane. So listen, it's March and it's rolling towards the NFL draft. We're just coming out of the combine. Let's get started right off the bat. Let's talk a little football. Let's talk about the biggest movers as far as up or down by their performance or non-performance at this year's combine. I'm going to start off. I think the biggest mover up the board, I hate to say it, it's going to have to be J.J. Hardy, the quarterback out of the University of Michigan. I think he did himself a lot of favors at the combine, in the interviews, on the field. What do you guys think about that? Let's start the conversation up there. Tony, let's start with you, buddy.
Okay, so you talking about just interview process during the combine? I mean,
I
what
think
is so
everything.
much?
I think J.J. Hardy really helped himself out.
Yeah, you mean the Michigan quarterback McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he helped himself out a whole lot because he's not injury prone. So I think that puts him above Michael Penix. I think that I think it puts him to me right with Drake May. Depends on the team and the fit and the coaching. I like the kid because I think he's solid. I think he's going to be pretty good. He's he he can run well and he moves in the pocket well. And obviously he's a winner, man. He did it for Michigan, and I just think he's going to be a solid quarterback in the NFL. Just solid. I'm not looking for to be wild, but I think he'll be solid in the NFL. And I think a lot of the criticism he getting to me is fake because I wasn't a fan of his, but after watching him, like I did with C.J. Stroud when I watched him in the playoff game last year, I think he's going to be a very solid pro. And any team that gets him they're going to love him for 10 years.
Okay, let's go to Cody on that. Cody, as you've been watching the combine for a while. Who did you think helped or hurt themselves the most? Give me two or three guys. And if you can throw in the guys that ran the 40, there were some good 40 times that were put down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to just stick on the topic of J.J. McCarthy. I mean, he jumped up my board pretty far. I had him in the lower area of the draft, but I've jumped him up to, I think he's either going to go as early as 12 to Denver.
Ooh.
And could possibly slip down to 14 to the Saints. I have him landing right in that area there just because of once. I mean, just like Tony said, he's a winner, first off. I mean, you can't go wrong with somebody like that. They have that winner's mentality. I think his attitude and personality showed a bit there in the combine as well, because these guys are watching everything. They're not just watching what we see on the screen with these workouts. I mean, they're watching these guys eat lunch. They're watching them talk to people. They're watching how their demeanor is, how they communicate. And I think he worked his way up the board pretty far, and I think he's going to probably land, like I said, right there in that middle teen range of the draft.
Mm-hmm. How about Jaden Daniels? Did he hurt himself at all, or is he solid to where he is? Second or third pick, somewhere in there?
I think he helped himself big time. I don't have him going second or third, believe it or not. I changed up my mock recently with a draft trade with the Commanders for Justin Fields. And with that, they still keep their second pick. It's going to be, the way I had it mocked up was for a second round pick this year, a third round pick this year, and a second round for Justin Fields.
Okay.
Marvin Harrison at the second overall. And the only reason why I think that value matches is just simply because of the quarterbacks that are now hitting the market, that are available, that are going to be out here, that kind of diminish that value just a little bit, not necessarily diminish his value overall as a quarterback, just more or less the money value or trade value that can kind of come along with it. I know that Washington has been they either have a specific trade in mind to use it for, or they have a certain player in mind to use it for.
But before I go to Tony, and I love what you're saying, Cody, because I've been thinking about this. You talked about quarterback value. For the folks at home that don't understand what Cody's talking about, quarterback value is also going to be changed by what happens to the quarterback market. So you're going to have Russell Wilson that'll end up back in the quarterback market. There's a potential that, who else could end up back in that quarterback market that could kind of glut the market a little bit and hurt somebody like a Justin Fields.
You got Kirk Cousins as well.
So. Right, Kirk Cousins.
You might not.
Yeah.
Or Baker Mayfield potentially could be on the move if he doesn't get his deal done.
That they locked him up, or they have everything in the works to lock him up down there in Tampa Bay.
I appreciate it.
So you think he's out of the mix?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
At least from what I'm hearing, I don't think they're going to let him go.
Yeah, and we'll go to TK on that. As the quarterback market changes, where you're going to see a couple of quarterbacks at teams that were starters, they're going to end up getting released and go or potentially be on the market to go somewhere else. That impact these rookies as far as where they could potentially be drafted.
Well, hey, let me go back to what Cody's saying. So the biggest team, you believe it or not, in this thing and control all the pieces are the Washington Redskins, the Commanders, because the Commanders got a whole bunch of ways to go based upon where they pick in, what they have. The Commanders actually could go after Fields, trade Howell for Fields, keep their second this year, give them a third and a fourth or whatever, and still be in the catbird seat because they got options of going. Do you want us to take Daniels? Do you want us to go get Russell Wilson and take Daniels? I mean, it's a whole bunch.
The only reason why I think Howe would be out of the mix in that trade is because of the quarterback that they drafted last year, who actually showed up pretty decent when Fields was not in the game, and he had to fill in for him. He played pretty good football for a backup and had an arm.
You talking about in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago.
You talking about Tyler Bagent?
Yeah, and
he wasn't terrible. He was all right.
He wasn't terrible, but
he's a good backup. He's going to end up being a lot cheaper than Sam Howell's going to be. And he's not 1 year.
Yeah. And that's a good point, guys. We have to talk about real quick. Let's talk about the Washington Commanders, what the situation they're in, and what the situation is going to be with Sam Howell. Sam Howell was what, a third-round pick?
What was he, fifth?
Yeah, I think it was a fifth rounder. And a lot of people felt that he should have been a first-round quarterback. Probably after his junior season, people would have thought he would have been a first-rounder. He ended up going fifth round, which I think was a good place for him. He ended up in a situation. Basically, as a second-year starter last year with a lame-duck coach. He would have needed to go to keep for Ron Rivera to keep his job.
Starter last year.
What's that?
first year starter last year. He only started in one game the previous.
Right, yeah.
That was the last game.
He's a second-year quarterback as a first-year starter. I agree, as a first-time starter. And I don't think, to be honest with you guys, given the situation he was placed in, I'm going to sound like Louis Riddick for a second. Given the situation he was placed in, he didn't do too bad. Okay, you have to look at the situation he was placed in. He was placed in with a lame duck coach, a first year on the job as far as with the team, offensive coordinator, and he put up numbers. Now, were they great numbers? No. Were they terrible numbers? I didn't think so. I liked what I saw to Sam Howell. Now the question becomes, with the second pick in the draft, does Washington go quarterback here? Or I think you don't have a choice. I think you go quarterback here.
Sam Howell is not caliber quarterback in my opinion.
Say that again, Cody. I'm sorry.
I don't believe that Sam Howell is a starting quarterback.
You don't think he's a starting quarterback in this league?
In my opinion, he's not. No. I know there's a lot of Washington tryhards that will sit here and say that he is, but I think a lot of his numbers reflected from being down in the mistakes that he made early in the games and having to throw the ball consecutively through entire second halves, almost every single drive. I mean, if you look at it, the rushing numbers in the second half of this team for every game was ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong. What DK says, he made no adjustments to his game. That's not on a first-year starting quarterback to do. That's on the coaches to coach that. Coaches,
you got to coach that.
The differences and coach him through his adjustments so he can learn those things. But who's to say that they weren't trying to do that and Sam Howell was still forcing these passes? Because when I look at the tape, and I actually watched the full game tape, not just what we see on TV. I'm talking full spread field, so you can see these routes. There are people open that are being missed because he's forcing passes to the reads that he's looking at. So, I mean, whether they change the reads or not, he's still forcing passes into coverage, which shouldn't happen. And he consecutively through the entire year. And, I mean, it's like those numbers are reflected because playing behind by a score or two scores every second half, every single week, you're going to have to air it out. You're going to have to launch it many times throughout the game so you can have your chance to catch up. And that's where those numbers came from. I mean,
don't forget, also a very weak offensive line, just let's just call it what it is.
I mean, my big thing with Sam Howell really, though, is his attitude. I mean, attitude reflects leadership, Captain. You know what I'm saying? And you look at this guy, and he is stone cold, stone demeanor. Every chance you see him, the kid doesn't get angry. He doesn't get happy. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get mad. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's not the guy you want as your quarterback. You can take him at linebacker or something like that, but you don't want that as your quarterback, man. You need somebody who is vibrant, who's going to reflect leadership when everybody's out there. You know what I mean? The game is about first downs, not touchdowns. And if you try to act like it's all about touchdowns, everyone around you who's there to help you is going to think you failed every time you didn't get a touchdown, and that brings everything down. It's about getting first downs, having that leadership, let your guys know we still did good, and keep it moving and build that camaraderie and kind of keep building this team up to have that momentum and that morale. And when you got a guy in the pocket who's struggling to do what he can do, forcing passes left or right, and has the same stale look on his face every time he throws a pick and every time he does anything good or bad, it's just not – he's not the one, man. He's a great backup. Don't get me wrong. I think he'd be a phenomenal second string, one of the best second string quarterbacks in the league. But when it comes to first string, he's bottom 32.
Tony, let's get you in here on that. Thanks for that, Cody. Let's get you in here on that. Sam Howell's demeanor, his potential leadership. Granted, things can change. He is a second-year guy going into his third year, a young veteran. What do you think about his demeanor as Washington quarterback? Impact the team at all? Negatively or positively?
I mean, it can. I mean, they know better his personality, his stuff better than me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because you do have guys like Joe Burrow who doesn't show any expression at all, whether they're winning or losing. So it all depends on how they. I mean,
he's Joe Cool.
Burrow gets very angry.
Yeah, but
he's messing up, he gets angry.
But most of the time, he's just Joe Cool. He's just like,
but he still has an attitude, and that's the thing. Like that, I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, the thing is with Sam Howell is he's a QB2 that y'all try to make one.
I'll
And
buy
and
that.
and the thing is, and here's where the thing is with the Commanders fan. What you have to realize is, I I think that you guys need to just get you a quarterback that is going to be there for the next 10 years, and you need to
Not easy.
stable. You got to stabilize that position, which hasn't been stable since Barack Obama was president. So, I mean, you know, if that's not stable, and then your head coach is not stable, he hasn't had a winning record, or he hasn't had you know, you had a horrible GM. Y'all done everything the wrong way, and now it's time. You rank last on everything. It just can't get any worse than what it is.
Rebuild.
Now,
They've
now
replaced.
what you do, if it were me, I would go get Russell Wilson. I would go draft Jaden, and then I would go the long way of building this back how you wanted it to go. If you really wanted, put Russell Wilson in there while they're building the O line, let him take the beat up, get this guy used to it, because Jaden Daniels in 4 years will probably be a top five quarterback in this league.
Yeah,
Because you don't get an A in running and an A in passing. That is kind of hard to do. So that means he does have potential to be one of the best ones out there. So if you're looking long term, let's get Russell Wilson in here. Let's get somebody who can actually take your team to the playoffs this year while mentoring your quarterback and while building your team to what you want it to be. And I think that is the route that you should go.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Justin Fields thing with Marvin. That's great, but that's fantasy.
No, I mean
If
I
you
like
want to build your
Daniels.
team,
I like Daniels a lot.
he's the future, dude.
Yeah,
He's the future. He's the future of that franchise. Put it like this: as a Cowboy fan, I want you to mess this one up. If you get Jaden Daniels, Dallas is going to be irrelevant in 2 to 3 years versus you guys because they won't be able to beat you. They will not be able to beat what you're going to build around that guy with that good GM from San Francisco who knows how to build a team to beat Dallas. And then you got Dallas's defensive coordinator. So you will have everything to beat the team who is going to win the division this year because the Giants are awful. They don't have a quarterback. The Eagles just lost their best offensive lineman and they tanked. So Dallas is the only one standing. If you get even close to Dallas with Russell Wilson, what you would do with Jaden for the rest of the decade will put Jerry Jones' old ass. He'll be selling the team.
No, yeah, I
But
agree.
if you play it wrong, you're gonna be the same old, same old.
Yeah.
4-13, 5-12, all that crap, raggedy ass stadium, looking for some place to go, and the rest of this stuff. Cody, April 25th to April 27th is the most important date in the Commanders' history.
All day, all night.
You
No.
cannot mess this up. If you mess this up,
And
you will ruin. They won't be in the Super Bowl for another 30 years.
the way I'm looking at it is, as far as the best quarterbacks that are, and in my mind, in that order, it goes Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson, Jaden Daniels, Drake May.
I would say this. I wouldn't put. I'm not going to put Drake May quite that low. I would say Drake May's. I would say this is the quarterback out of North Carolina, but
Tim Howell had better
I would
numbers.
say Drake May's floor is higher than Jaden Daniels' floor. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man.
No.
As bad as Jaden Daniels, I'm talking about as bad as they can be. I think Drake May's floor is still higher than Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels.
Absolutely.
No.
Hey,
no.
hey, Dave,
A
Dave.
is Howell.
you don't get an A in running the ball and an A in passing the ball as a quarterback. It has never happened. It's just happened. That guy is the real deal, and I'm biased because I'm a Caleb fan.
Yeah,
Okay. Jaden Daniels is the real deal. If the Redskins or the Commanders, whatever you want to call them, get him, it's going to be a problem in the NFC East for the rest of the decade. It's going to be a problem.
It is a game changer in the division. I will say that. He would be a more dynamic runner than, say, than Jalen Hurts. His arm, he's got an amazing arm. I think there's an opportunity there for him to be a very, very good quarterback. But coming out of the box, putting him on the field as a rookie, I think the first 2 years are going to be rough. Somebody in Washington is going to actually have to coach this guy and get him to a point where he can function. And
no, Jay, they got the perfect guy. See, Washington, on the sneak, Washington has the perfect people. By putting Cliff Kingsbury there in 25, Jaden Daniels will be ready to play. 24, you don't touch him. You leave him alone. In 25, he will be ready to play because you got the perfect guy for him. Cliff Kingsbury is that guy. He's that guy.
That's not going to happen. Whoever we get this year is going to be bad. I can guarantee.
And if he is, you're going to do nothing but go down the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. You can't keep doing the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's a totally different person. It's a totally different quarterback with a totally.
Did y'all played RG3 early? What happened to him?
Who is y'all? Because everyone who's a part of that situation is no longer.
But it's still the franchise. We're talking about the franchise. We're talking about the entire franchise.
Who's in place right now? What they're going to do?
Yeah, you can't.
Whoever they get a quarterback this year is going to be their quarterback.
And that is not the thing to do.
Say that if they're getting Justin Fields and Marvin Harris.
No. Justin Fields should play. If you get a rookie quarterback, he should not see the field this year.
I don't know. I think Jaden Daniels could see the field. I think Caleb Williams absolutely.
He could see the field, but they shouldn't see the field. My point is, if you got to play them with that offensive line being repaired, that's not a good sign. That's not good for a quarterback. He needs to sit. That's not good. It's not a good thing.
I would say you have to go. I would say you have to go with a veteran quarterback behind this offensive line.
Yes,
as it's packaged. I wouldn't put a rookie behind that.
No.
What do you think? You would put a rookie behind this offensive line last year?
Not last year, but this year, sure.
You would do it this year. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see a lot of teams burn through
the offensive coordinator
legit rookie quarterbacks, putting them behind inferior offensive lines. And putting that kid in a position where he really can't win, and all he's doing is playing and running for his life.
But you
factor in the fact, what's that?
So you got to understand, though, the reason why it looked so horrible last year is because 70% of the offensive calls which takes time for a play to develop. So if your offensive coordinator is doing nothing but 70% of the time down.
Yeah, you're TK. TK, you got to go on mute, bro, when we're talking. Thanks, buddy. Go ahead, Coach.
You're setting yourself up for disaster. If your offensive coordinator 70+% of the time is calling plays downfield for 30 yards or plus, you're not setting yourself up good because your line isn't good enough for that. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not good enough for a short pass game or play actions or a run game. I mean, they can still do all of that. They have the talent to do it, but when you're trying to have plays develop downfield and you clearly can't get enough time, you have to change that and adjust that, not continue to call it the rest of the year for 70% of your offensive play calls. And that's what made the line look drastically more horrible than what they are. Not saying they're great. Don't get me wrong, but they're not that bad.
Hey, Tony, I'm surprised that you think that you like Drake May. It seems like you think that Drake May, my comment about the difference in floors. You think Drake May is as good, if not better, than Jaden Daniels, or would you pick him at number 2 in Washington?
I would not pick Drake May. I'm staying the hell away from Mitchell Trubisky and all them Carolina quarterbacks. I'm staying the hell away from them.
What? No Roman Gabriel? Where's the love?
No, man. Yeah, no. Listen, dog. Y'all stay away from Drake May. Leave that dude alone. We're talking about Washington now. So if Drake May falls to New Orleans or Denver or somebody like that, then it'd be a decent for them. But we're talking about the top two, Caleb and Jalen Daniels.
Mhm.
We're
Well,
talking about those
let's talk
two.
about Caleb.
So,
Caleb
yeah.
went to the combine. He went to the combine. He did not throw. He did not run. He did the interview process and obviously talked to reporters. There was a lot of things. I'm going to say this, guys. I didn't like what I heard a lot of the media say about the kid. I think if I'm a media guy, right? The way he answered the questions, a couple of questions, which were trap questions, I would have had him do something slightly different than he did. He did let his personality show out a little bit, but I just felt like the media was just trying to trap him in to say something negative or say something like gotcha questions. I felt bad for him in that regard. I thought the media did him a bit of a disservice.
Okay, Dave. So let me come in with this Caleb stuff. So all the guys that was talking trash about, oh, you got to have humility and all this other fuck
Mhm.
humility. He's going to be the number one pick. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. How you think he got there? You think he got there by being a nice guy? Let's stop this bullshit when it's a black quarterback. He got to have humility. He got to do all that. F them.
Yeah, 100%.
If you ain't going to take them, don't take them. Then you got to go play against them.
Yep.
I'm tired of fucking trying to walk on eggshells and this and that. He got to sound like this. He ain't got to sound like shit. Caleb, you keep doing what you doing. You won the fucking Heisman Trophy. The Heisman Trophy. You're going to be the number one pick. F what they got to say. I don't care about the rest of that crap. I don't care about looking this and that. He didn't get there because, oh, well, maybe I can throw this out, this and that. You got to be confident. Yeah, I'm going to throw that out. And I'm going to throw that out on these damn corners. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You tell them what you're going to do, then go do it, and then tell them shut the fuck up. I'm tired of walking on eggshells for people, man. Stop that crap. Oh, I didn't take the physical. So what, y'all gonna let him fall? I'll tell you what, I'm a Cowboy fan. If Dallas goes right now and trade Dak for him right now, I wouldn't miss a beat because I want him. That is the next Mahomes. He's going to be good. I think Jalen Daniels is going to be better faster, but he's going to be good. And he's going to play 10, 15 years in this league. And he keep that attitude. He's a good kid. He's a great student. And he's a great person. So if you want to judge him off of these, oh, I got you on this little crap that y'all call the combine, the underwear Olympics, man, get the hell out of my face with that crap.
Well, look at it this way, Tony. I think if Chicago is squirrely and they decide they're going to take Jaden Daniels first, he's going to fall right to Washington. And then at that point, if you're Washington, you go ahead and take Caleb Williams at number 2 and consider that a victory. I would say Caleb is in a great position. I don't think he needed to do any of the stuff at the combine because he's going to, number one, he's going to do it at his pro day. And then number 2, he's already negotiating. Chicago is already negotiating with who they would potentially take with their first pick. It's a league rule. They could get their contract done. The contract negotiations can start now. So there's only one team that needs to see his medical history and poke and prod him, and that's the Chicago Bears. They hold the first pick. That's it. He doesn't need to show all of that other stuff to the other 31 teams. What do you think about that, Cody? Cody, did you lose me? Yeah, we can't hear you, Cody. So we lost Cody there for a second. So
I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of.
Oh, go ahead, Cody. Oh, we lost Cody. He'll be back. Tony, what do you think about that as far as there's 32 teams in the league? The team that has the number 1 pick, if they get the number 1 pick, they get to negotiate with who they potentially could pick first.
And that's all it is. If they're negotiating with Caleb behind the closed doors, we don't know.
He's going to do a physical.
There you go, Cody. You're going to do a physical anyway. You have to. Come on, man. They about to give you $100 million.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, come on. I think a lot of these NFL teams and their media, I'll just say that their captive media that really works for the teams, are out here putting out these things about these young players. And it's all, and Tony, you know this, Cody, you know this, it's all posturing, right? If you're a team at the 5th pick, you hope that somebody like that falls down to 3, 4, or 5 to where you can get him yourself. You be the first one in line, right? It's like a bunch of women sitting around there, a bunch of guys sitting around there bad mouthing some girl, right? But as soon as she becomes available, he right in her face. The same dude that was like, oh, she don't look like all that. Next time you see him down at the ice cream shop, he with that same girl. I don't want to hear that mess. This is exactly what these teams do. This is lying season. They all lie about who they think they want.
Nobody wants to
exactly. Nobody wants to tip their hand.
That's why there's that's why there's no sure pick about if Chicago is even taking Caleb Williams.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have many options. They could screw around, stick with Justin Fields, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., have DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Justin Fields.
Get them running back, and they're good to go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like an established quarterback already with a star wide receiver and a star there's so many options that this could happen. There's also trades up in the works. They could trade for the 2nd overall pick, still get Marvin Harrison.
Yep.
Have Justin Fields.
They could do that.
Return
and pick up some other selection.
Regardless of which way it does go, Caleb Williams is the best player in this draft, hands down. I think.
After seeing Jayden Daniels, I got to watch Jayden Daniels' film. The game I watched him in, oddly enough, was the Florida State game. And that's a game that LSU lost. Florida State actually played Jayden Daniels pretty well. Thought they did a good job with him. And that Florida State defense, let's talk a little bit about this real quick. The Florida State defense and what they put on the field as far as at the combine, Florida State had players this year, guys. There was talk about, obviously, there's controversy behind them not making the playoff. The more that I watched those guys perform out there, underwear Olympics, they had the raw material to be quite a formidable team if they had made it to the playoff. So hats off to the people at Florida State. Florida State's guys showed up at the combine looking good. They were all blazing.
Speaking of Florida in general, Miami's quarterback that went down with that horrible ankle injury.
That's Florida State's quarterback.
Yeah. He's actually just got medical clearance to where he'll be cleared by mid-2025.
Let's see, Jordan Travis, right?
Yep,
that's his name.
He'll be able to play. So I don't know how that'll work with if he'll be able to work out with teams or what, but he just got the clearance.
Tough. Is he still in college?
No, he was a senior.
Pro?
I think he was a senior,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. I like the way the kid played. I give Florida State, give them a lot of credit for their guys showing up and showing out
Cody,
at the combine.
Can you get Al on the show?
What's that?
Can you get Al Calais on the show, please?
Yeah, we'll get Al.
Cody, can you put him on? Al, send Cody your number, please.
Yeah. So if we look at the combine, I would say Florida State and Texas's guys pretty much all showed out. They all looked really good on tape. The wide receivers ran like the frickin' wind. The corners were blowing up off the board as far as how fast they were running. We're going to see corners and wide receivers with some great speed numbers come off the board in the draft. Did anybody move up into that first round in your mock, Cody? Any Florida State or Texas guys? I didn't get a chance to look at your mock real close to see the scores on these guys.
State or Texas? Yeah, I got Jared Verse, the D end out of Florida State, going 11 to the Vikings.
Oh, he's nasty.
Yeah, I also have another D tackle from Texas, Byron Murphy II, going to the Raiders at 13.
Mm-hmm.
I have Keon Coleman going to Tampa Bay, 26. But that made
Keon Coleman ran. What did he run? He ran like a 4.3.
Yeah, I mean he's a beast. And I also have Xavier Worthy going to Kansas City at 32.
I think he broke the combine record, 4.21 for him, right?
Worthy did. Yep.
That's nasty.
Kansas City.
He made the jump to light speed, buddy. That was.
But yeah, no.
That was crazy.
The only reason why I don't know if Keon is gonna go to Tampa Bay now is because they locked down Mike Evans. That was kind of my reason why they were taking a guy like that. I mean, he still could go there, but I might swap that late first round up a little bit.
Well, Keon Coleman, oddly enough, his first run in the 40 was a 4.25. Okay. You run a 4.25, you just walk off the field. I'm done. He went and ran again and ran 4.21. That joker made himself some money. Okay. I don't know how many spots he would have moved up had he run a 4.4 and dropped, but to drop your 40 time by 4.25 and then down to a 4.21 is pretty incredible.
That's that lean at the end.
What's that?
That's that lean at the end.
Doesn't matter. You drop your time. If you drop your time at a 40, I don't care if you drop it by 0.1. You dropped it.
Oh,
and
yeah. No, I'm saying
that was pretty amazing.
He knew what he did wrong on the first run.
What's that?
He knew what he did wrong on the first run.
I ran track in high school. I wish it was that simple.
I mean, that's what it seemed like. He came back the second one and dropped it like it was nothing.
Well, first of all, the 40, so you can understand, the 40 is about your start, not your finish. It's your start. Because if you get off like that, man, and you saw how clean that get off was, man, I knew he was going to run something good because he was moving. What's up, Al?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Al? What you got for us, buddy?
I was just here listening to you guys, man, and I have to say, man, like the thing about when we talking about the quarterback is Caleb, and it's Caleb up here and everybody else is down here. Caleb is a generation talent. Like I don't think there's a GM in America that's going to say I'm going to pass up on Caleb. For one, out of all the quarterbacks, he can make every throws on the field, and then if all else fails, he's athletic, he uses his legs, and he can make all those off-schedule throws. So, as a Bears, I understand Justin Fields, but one thing you look at Chicago, and you guys know how it is, if a coach didn't draft you, he's not going to put his life or his on somebody that he didn't draft. With Caleb, he gets to see him kick under the tires and see everything that he can do. So any coach that is going to go down is going to go down with a guy and say, that's my guy. One thing about NFL and football, and I always tell this to any player that's going to the NFL, you want to be the guy that the coach said, that's my guy. So when they're in meetings or whatever, he's going to go to bat for you.
Yeah, he's going to
say, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at, that's why Justin Fields is a good quarterback. But can that coach with the Bears saying Justin Fields that's his guy?
No, I mean, that's obviously not a reality, man. They're definitely getting rid of Justin Fields. It's just a matter of the price.
And if you look, I mean, for me, I think they're in a situation where whatever they give it to Justin Fields for, they can use for a draft pick and build up even more. Yeah. Caleb, I was not a Caleb fan all the way until I said it. So it was one game that I watched, and this I'm gonna tell you why I know he was different. It was the game at Oklahoma, where Rattler was playing, and Rattler, don't forget, Rattler was supposed to be a Heisman guy. And
he got on that TV show and fell off.
As a player, as a guy that played football, we all know that when they were losing, when Caleb came in the game, the whole thing just switched. I have never seen that in my life where a one guy, because we know football is a team sport. He came in that game and it was like a different team. That's the day I became a Caleb fan and said, because I was Dwayne Haskins.
Will be.
I thought Dwayne Haskins was one of the best guys I've seen spin it until I watched this kid and I was like, it's different from him. This guy, people take towards him. He's the leader. I know he got all this other stuff, but it's a new generation. These kids are who they are. They wear tight jeans. They paint their nails. But at the end of the day, they're looking at it like, can he spin the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a fuck what he does with his nails. I'm like, I just need him to throw the football good. Like,
can he win? Can he win games? Can he make? And one thing you look at him, he can make every throw on that football field. The only thing that
now, Al, I ask you this. Look, let me ask you this. You're Chicago's GM, right? And Washington comes at you with second overall, second round, third round, first overall next year, second next year, first overall the year after, and a second the year after for your first round pick and a fourth. You do it?
I do it. I do it because hey,
So, I mean,
because Washington.
we broke the bank for a quarterback before with something similar.
I
You
do.
know what I'm saying?
I don't see because history is that I don't think they'll be that stupid to do that again. Because the fact that they have so many missing pieces. I don't get Washington fans thinking that things are going to switch.
Oh yeah, no. But see, the big difference this year is we got a GM who knows how to attack free agency, and we got the most highest cap that we got available in a long time.
But at the end of the day, that GM, I think he is suspect because he knew the defensive coordinator from the 49ers. You knew that guy was a good defensive coordinator, but you didn't even say, let me bring this guy along.
Because it's up to the head coach.
Huh?
It's up to the head coach that he hired.
Yeah, but again,
if Dan Quinn don't want him, it's not. That's the thing. They're not bringing a GM in. They're bringing somebody in who's going to make the best decisions. If you want your coaching staff to be successful, you want it to be the one that works the best with the head coach. And that defensive coordinator is his guy. And I'm a big fan of that defensive coordinator.
Listen. This is where I question that GM. There are so many qualified candidates than the guy that they hired.
There is, but I love the guy they hired. That's a great hire, yo. Really look into this man.
Look at look at the guy's track record. Look at the games that he lost. There was only lost based on his defense.
He's never been a defensive coordinator. This is his first time ever.
I'm talking about Quinn. Dan Quinn. I'm not talking about Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn from the Cowboys. He came out with a defense, and you can listen to Michael Parsons, those guys talking, and that was his philosophy. It wasn't like I'm arguing Redskins fans saying it's the Dan Quinn from Seattle. No, it's not. He didn't put together that Seattle defense. That's and you talking about Washington. Washington don't have nearly half the talent that Seattle team have. The inside linebackers, they don't have. The guys in the secondary, they don't have. The leadership, they don't have. The offensive line, they don't have. So what I'm saying is, for me, that GM right off the break says that, I don't know, just look at the way this team has been performing in the last 2 months.
I don't know, man. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the GM's track record. And if you look at it, everywhere he's been has been a great built team. And he has brought great players into those teams.
I understand that, but there was so many qualified people.
It's not his job to hire that person. That's the head coach's job. His job is to find and build a great team.
And the head coach that he hired. Hey, Tony is here. Tony, do you regret losing Dan Quinn?
I mean, who?
Man, are you asking me after the Green Bay game?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. After the Green Bay.
No, after what I saw with Green Bay and how I saw unprepared that defense was. That I was shocked that he actually got that job. I really was shocked. Now, do I like Dan Quinn? I like Dan Quinn. I think he's solid.
And when you look at the talent he had with the Cowboys, he has way less talent with the Skins. Way less talent. I'm just saying. I understand.
See, that's the thing. We have a GM to find him that talent, bro, with a ton of money in his pockets to do it.
I understand what you're saying. Cody, I understand what you're saying. My track record on this show is pretty good because I sat here last year.
Mine is too, bro. I've been doing it for a while.
With Mr. Combs, and I told him what the Washington season was going to look like. Right or wrong? I told him.
I mean, that's not hard, though. What do you mean? Everyone's been able to call a Washington season for the past 2 decades. They've been doing the same shit.
Now, people expected them to be decent, and I said they weren't going to be decent.
Die-hard fans, maybe.
No, on the show. When I came on the show,
they were 2-1, and everybody did expect 8-9 wins when they were 2-1.
I said no, because I said 7-8 all day long when we.
They're not getting that. But what again? Like I said, what Caleb Williams, this is generational talent. That again, if you're a GM, if you're the GM of Chicago Bears, if you don't draft Caleb Williams and you stick with Justin Fields and nothing go right next year, you would not have a job.
That's the risk you
But
take in the NFL.
if you draft Caleb Williams,
If you draft
it
Caleb
doesn't go
Williams,
as planned. Listen, if it doesn't go as planned, people gonna look and say, "Well, he was the number 1 quarterback. Everybody said he was a generational talent." You have more
yeah,
wiggle
but you're
room
still wrong.
versus
You're
not
lost.
drafting this kid.
I'd rather be wrong with the number one pick. I mean, I can't pass him up.
I can't
After you
pass him up.
messed up the Mitchell Trubisky, Mahomes and Watson, you cannot mess this one up.
You can't. You
You
can't.
can't
You
mess
can't
it up.
mess it up. You can't mess it up. And like I said, man, it's Washington. I don't have no faith that those guys going to be able to do what's right. If they're going to take Drake May, they might as well.
Oh, now Drake May is out off topic. I think they will get it right this year. I give them credit.
I don't know, but all everybody's saying is going to be Drake May. Everybody's saying that.
I mean, nobody has said that we were going to take Emmanuel Forbes. Nobody said we was going to take. I mean, you can guess all you want, but that ain't going to be the thing. And after that combine, I do not think Drake May is up there. I think if the earliest he'll go is to the Patriots, the earliest he'll go.
Okay.
What's up, Dave?
Hey, we got to talk about Caitlin Clark, man. We got to congratulate her on that
We gotta give
NCAA
her-
record, dog.
We got to give Caitlin Clark her
We
props.
got to give Caitlin Clark out of Iowa a lot of credit.
Hey.
Man. That's a lot of damn points, buddy.
Hey, I have to say, she has me wanting to watch college for women's basketball.
Women's basketball would be.
I'm not a big fan of watching them during the season, but she makes me watch. She's good for women's basketball, and that we have to acknowledge because she's a talent, man. I mean, she has it. I'm not gonna. I tell you, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not a women's basketball fan. I watch it when it comes to the Final Four and all that, but she makes you. She's good for the game. I give her that. She's good. She's good for the game, man.
There's only one problem with Caitlin Clark is Bird had magic when he was in college. Caitlin Clark doesn't quite have that yet. You could say she has a bit of a rivalry with LSU because they met up in the championship game last year. What Iowa needs, what women's college basketball needs, is Caitlin Clark needs that other player opposing her, a slightly different style of player, and a different fan base. And I think that would be kind of what you saw with Magic and Bird.
But
Caitlin
again,
Clark
how you going to attract? What kind of NIL money you talking about? What kind of NIL money you talking about to get those other players over there?
What's that?
What kind of NIL money you talking about to get those guys over there?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, you lost him.
Oh, I think it's. Yeah. What are you talking about with Caitlin?
Yeah, because he's saying that she needs somebody else. But in order to get the other person else, you're going to need some NIL money, man.
Yeah, but it's too late now. I mean, she's a senior, and what are their teams going to be? They're going to make one run at it, and I think they're going to be decent. They may make it to the Final Four. As long as they don't beat my girls at Virginia Tech, I don't care because my girls can play. My girls made the Final Four last year, regular season champs this year. We're going to win the AC tournament, and we'll be back there again. Virginia Tech women, Hokies, baby.
Yeah.
And Kev, hey, Tony, this one I just wanted to touch base on that other one also on Caleb not doing any of those things at the combine. I think it's smart on his part because the thing about Caleb right now, you have people that love him and you have people that hate him. Right now in the NFL combine, all those teams they're just looking for something negative. But like you said, look. If I have over 30 NFL games, over college games, if you can't evaluate me with those games, then that's up to you. But he said any team that want me to come in, I'll come in and do a medical for you. And I understand it because, again, we have a lot of people that are looking just to find something negative about this guy. And at the end of the day, his agent and his parents, their best thing to do is to protect their guy. Because that's what they're trying to do. Because again, all this negative and all that, because he is. Some of the things he did, some of the things he said, yeah, it brought out some people to say, oh, he's soft, he's weak. Okay, but I understand that. But at the end of the day, right now where he's at, there's no need for him to do anything besides say, hey, and that's what we're in. We're in the NFL where with these NFL combines and these pro days, these guys understand. They go, I'm gonna wait till I go to my school. We're gonna tell you what plays we're gonna do. I'm gonna throw my own guys, and we're gonna work. And then, but like you said, at the end of the game, the best evaluation you can do, go sit down at USC and watch 30 of his college games. If you can't evaluate him, then obviously you guys have issue. And whoever pass up on that is gonna regret it.
All right, well, Al, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, man.
Out all of this here come April 25th.
Yep,
So,
April 25th.
We'll figure it out.
We get ready.
Coming on.
We gotta see what
Everybody
Dallas is going to do, Tony. Man, I don't know what's going
I
on.
don't even
man.
know.
Yeah.
Don't even know till we get into this free agency. So the year league starts on the what? The 12th or the 13th?
13, I think.
13th. Next
Yeah.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
we'll be back on here on next Monday or Wednesday. I'll be at
All right,
AC
Coach.
tournament
All right,
in DC. Hey, one more thing too. We got to make sure that we mention that the Tyson Paul fight is July 20th,
July 20th.
2024 in Dallas,
Yep.
in Jury's World. So that's gonna be a big thing.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We may be there. All right, fellas.
Hey, make sure to like us and check us out on Spotify. Share us on there. Like us. Do all of that good stuff. Comment on YouTube. Like, subscribe. All the good stuff. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, brother.